Hey, we got an all-star cast in this facility now. We got Steve Hughes, we got Derek Thorne, we got this guy, Brian Richardson.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing. And we got Griffith over there in the corner. This is
And
like,
we've got you, which is unusual.
which is rare. Which is a rare occurrence in 2016. But I'm here. I'm here for at least another week before I depart again for another adventure. But great to have all you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
What's
Good to
new?
be here.
Well, what's new with everybody? What's going on?
I'll let these guys start.
Yeah.
You see me every week.
It was not. Steve called me about 15 minutes ago and wondering if I could make it in. So I was in the bullpen, but it's okay. I don't mind doing that. That's kind of where we've been running lately.
I thought you'd be at the on the Riviera somewhere now, or maybe out on your yacht, but no.
No, not yet.
You missed
it's getting the yacht's getting serviced right now. So.
You missed the real big conversation earlier about where to get the he had a whole canning thing early in one of the breaks, and then Blake was talking about cherries. So you're the expert. Where do we got to go?
Well, what are you looking for?
Well, I mean, Griffith's got.
I bring pallets of peaches in here
know.
when I get invited.
I could have brought pallets of apricots last week. I needed a forklift to get them off of my tree.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you keep the birds out of them at your house.
Apricots. It's got a shelf life of about 36 hours.
Maybe 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, they're not ripe. They're ripe.
Apricots are the one thing that commercially we pick them a little on the green side so they'll make it through the system. So if you have a tree at home, they're always much better than the store. I shouldn't be saying that for fellow apricot growers, but it's not like peaches.
You
and
have to
nectarines.
pick them early.
Yeah,
An apricot goes from good to bad overnight.
Well, let's talk what we
Let's
can get
talk
now.
racing.
Well, nectarines we can get soon, right?
Nectarines are coming on right now.
Nectarines are coming.
All right.
My nectarine tree's up
Okay.
next.
All right.
Cherries are here. So
these are the important things that we talk about on the
Right.
Power Hour.
Now, what do you want to talk
Hold
about?
on a minute. Hold on. Peaches pay our racing bills.
That's true.
Grapes pay his racing
That's
bills.
true.
So
And these
I
guys
guess we gotta
pay,
try to
pay
figure
my
out how to pay
my
your bills.
Yeah, I think we're good. This weekend's going to be a good one to help me pay the bills. I can tell you
Absolutely.
that.
It's gonna. Well, the Southwest Tour is back in town. You're making your debut, right?
I ran the showdown in February, and then in Vegas, Eric ran the tour car, and then Irwindale Rip ran it. So now it's my turn.
And what has been the biggest changeover from where you've been previously to running on this tour?
There's a huge. The car's a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
We've really struggled with this new car, which is something we're not used to. It's been a little frustrating for everybody, but in the level of competition, I think there was a point in the late models where we were probably at the top of the game, and now we're ways down, chasing him, and it's a different setting to sit in, and you have to be patient and not get frustrated and understand that we have to put in our time and effort to educate ourselves to make our car better to get to the level where someone like Derek and
How do you how closely, from a competitive standpoint, do you study a Derek Thorne?
Well, we were both testing Monday night. I always ask him questions about his race car, and he lies to me every time. And so, I get it. I do the same thing.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I it's interesting. When we were testing Monday, and he's such a great race car driver. I'm not going to kiss his butt too much, but you watch him. Sometimes you're wondering what the track's doing. So I always try when we do test, make sure he's there so we can gauge ourselves off him. And we were, watching him. He's doing something a little different through 1 and 2 than I was doing. So I changed it up a little bit and try some things. So they're definitely the best team on the West Coast to gauge yourself off of and learn from.
And what do you take away from new drivers on the tour? I mean, do you pay attention to them, or do you? I mean, a person like Brian who has a lot of experience, Derek. I mean, what do you make of him?
I never underestimate anybody. Anybody can come in, especially a guy like Brian here. He has more laps around Kern than I could ever imagine having. And I think that once they get their car figured out and stuff, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's just one of those things that we have a really well-established team, and we've been fortunate to have a guy like Byron Campbell that's put together such a great group of people. We got Mike Keene, who is, I'd call him the secret weapon. The guy gives me phenomenal race cars to drive, and he makes me look good. And, we go out there, and sometimes we occasionally miss it a little bit. But for the most part, we're usually always up front or try to be and make the most of it.
And, it hasn't all been bad for the number 4 Summer Right machine, because in the Veterans Day Classic late last year, qualified very well. Winter Showdown, good qualifying run, just didn't translate into a race-ready car.
No, I mean, we ended up finishing 10th, but basically just riding around.
Sure.
The car, we just have not quite figured. We're missing something, and I can tell you my guys are working harder than anybody right now to figure it out, and it's been real frustrating. I think at some point we're going to hit on it, and then I think at that point we'll absolutely be able to run up front with these guys. And I think the car right now, we can click off a quick lap and be at the top of the board in practice, or right up there in qualifying. But like Derek and I were talking before, this is a 150 lap race all on the same set of tires. So that is really the goal you're working on. Testing all night Monday night, we were on tires that we ran the second half of the showdown on almost all night, just trying to get the car better on real old tires. And so I think that at this point is going to be the key for this weekend.
150 lap race. I mean, what is that for you compared to like what the late models were with a little bit of a shorter,
Well, I'm 40 years old and pretty fat, so I can tell you it's hard on me. I get wore out, but. Derek will tell you, if you have a good race car, you sit down in that thing and you get in a rhythm, and it's like watching TV. I mean, it's like playing a video. It's not hard on you. But when you're fighting a car, whether it's tight or loose, usually a tight car will make it loose off, and loose cars are just a handful. Then your blood's pumping a little more, and it makes for a lot longer race, that's for sure.
For the Bulwark FR West Tex by Milliken 150, there is going to be some strategery for this deal.
All right.
It's not going to be just go out and run 40 laps as quick as you can and get to the stripe first. There's going to have to be a strategy with all these race teams. Tire management, I know, is going to be very, very important. The adjustments you make after that halfway break. And then where you finished in segment 1, and if the guy in front of you finished in front of you in segment 1, you got to try and beat him in segment 2 to make sure you finish the overall in front of him. So
and who else are we expecting for this race?
Well, right now we've got 23 pre-registered. We're looking for about 3 more. There's 3 wild cards out there that could get the field up to 26 racers.
This isn't just a split 75. The first 75 laps, there's a complete finishing order. The second 75, there's another complete finishing order, and the overall best finish from those 2 races is the winner. The tiebreaker is who finished higher in the second
That is correct.
segment.
Yep.
So this
Seg-
is something
you're
that
gonna have a lot
hasn't
of
been done
explaining to do.
before.
Well,
So what's that bring to it, Derek?
It just brings a lot. It's having to be around. It's 75 laps. A lot can happen in 75 laps to begin with, and then to go and have sit for a half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour for the other divisions that have us run our second feature with an invert. We'll have to be starting behind the same guys that we were running against in the first 75. You got the tire wear, tire management, keeping your car in one piece. Be careful who you're racing, avoiding all the mishap incidents that come with being on a racetrack, and just trying to be there at the end. And hopefully you take home the $5,000.
Stay away from me. That's
How big of an
Yeah,
invert
way
is
up.
there? Do we know that, or do they
don't
draw
know.
for that?
It's going to be a draw. What we're planning on now. This is officially unofficial. Is once we do the driver introductions and we get ready to say the command, either the pole sitter is going to draw the first one, and then after that first segment, then we will draw again to invert the second segment. So the winner, the quick qualifier, and then the winner of segment 1 are going to be in charge of those inverts. That's the plan right now. Of course, that's a very liquid plan. You talk about who can we expect to be here at the races. I'm so jazzed that we've got so many local guys. Of course, Derek, Brian, Lance Wilson, Buddy Shepard, Johnny White, David Mayhew. I mean, just those names there, all those guys have a shot at winning this deal, and they're local guys. And then we've got a great group of SRL Southwest Tour Series regulars that are going to be there. Ryan Cansdale, of course, who won race number 2. Derek Thorne, who won race number 1. So it's going to be a great battle, great racing.
They've been good. There's a lot of really good young talent coming up. Christian McGee's really good. Parker Stevens has been really good. There's 3 or 4 guys that are all really
That
solid.
NTS Motorsports trio is very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, they've been running real well with Rocha and Stevens and stuff. So it's going to
be a
be
tough weekend.
it's a stacked field. I mean,
Certainly.
this is a
And then to deal with the local guys we were talking about, that's going to be an interesting mix as well. You work closely with Buddy and Derek with Buddy and a few others too, right? I mean, those guys are looking up to you and want to beat you just as much as anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely got a target on your back. Those guys there, it's really neat to see new, fresh blood, talented blood come into the SRL Southwest Tour because it is a regional touring series. that's what it's all about. It's all about stepping stones, and it's great to see younger kids that are able to make it into the next level, try to come race, at that level, go to different tracks throughout the year, and it's neat to have them and fun to race with them.
What else is on the docket for?
Well, you have up on the schedule there was the SRL S2 series.
Right.
Don't ever put that up
Sorry.
there again.
All right.
So just go to
right.
kernraceway.com and look. It's all current.
That's where I got it from.
No, you certainly did not. Don't. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to have the INEX Legends,
Yep.
INEX Bandoleros, and the 911 Racing Series. So looking forward to those local divisions racing there. Cabe McClinney going for 3 in a row. The Legends saw some new winners this year. So we're excited about that. And we've got 7 teams now in the 911 Racing Series. So it's a great group there. So some great racing sandwiched in between those 2 75-lap segments.
And another note on Cabe, we know those guys are great people. They ran down at Irwindale last weekend.
Oh, really?
When it was dark out here, and Cabe won both Friday night and Saturday night in the Bandolero. I know he's won a lot of races out here, but it's cool to see him go down there
Travel,
and put it on
yeah.
those guys too. So
That
good
is
for that
good
group.
because we've been kind of wondering. He's been here for a long time, but now they're starting to venture out and do some other things. That's pretty exciting to see that.
They
too.
do. They'll go over and race in Vegas, and then they'll. I think they do the road course and the oval in Vegas in the Bandoleros.
Yeah, the
right?
road course.
there
is
you brought it up
gnarly.
again.
Yeah. Well, that's for the Legends. Road
The
course.
road
for the
course.
Road course.
for the Legends.
Bandolero
at-
road course.
at Kern County Raceway.
I
I want to
I'm
see
saying-
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In
we
Vegas,
gotta
they
see
say
it.
they hit 90 miles an hour in a bando on the road
Wow.
course.
Is that
So
right?
My son is not going to that
Not
racetrack.
going. What else? We have some dirt track results from last Friday night. Let's
Friday the 13th.
Let's run through those just real quick. You don't have those? No, I didn't tell you to delete that. But I can tell you that Cade Lewis won in the senior mini dwarf.
And he did.
And it's interesting though. I want to talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
The girls there was 9 girls in the field.
He was the only young
only
man.
young man in the field,
Yeah.
but the girls in the kids part are really doing some great things.
Yes, they certainly are. I mean, we've seen it, especially in NHRA, with them going 5 national events with a female winning in those 4 top divisions, one in either one, whichever it was. Of course, Danica Patrick. IndyCar goes back 30 years, with females behind the wheel. But what a cool deal, man.
Right.
It's definitely female heavy in those junior and senior mini dwarfs. Bandoleros are getting the same way. But Cade Lewis, of course, the son of Colby Lewis, got the win on Friday night.
Big win.
Yeah.
Brian,
Hank Hall won in the junior mini dwarfs.
Right, Hank, and then you also ran
Zach,
Pro Stocks.
Yeah, Zach Forster won in the Mod Lights,
yeah.
and then Matt Mayhem Mayo got the victory in Pro Stocks.
And Hank's family's from off-road racing, so
Hank Hall, Hall Motorsports. Yeah.
off-road.
Brian, has your daughter raced ever?
No.
Ever shown interest in it?
She's asked to because my son races, but she now has her permit.
So
And so I could tell a great story about that, but
I'm
Probably
thinking like
better
a
not at this
souped-up
point.
68, 69 Camaro out at the drag strip.
how about a 2010 Chevy Tahoe that
Lots of airbags.
Lots of airbags, and
I'm
can
thinking
take a hit.
650 horsepower out at the drag strip for her.
It's the funniest thing. My daughter, she's been watching me since she was a baby race, and I take her out to the Famoso last year to the March meets, and she goes, "Dad, I love this. I love this." She goes, "To be honest with you, I hate going and watching races. It's so boring. This is awesome." So sure enough, this year I'm back out at the March meets, watching Griff walk up and down. He likes to stand down there at the other end of the track, but I had no clue. And she and my son's ready to go home. Dad, let's go. It's hot. And she loves it.
A nitro funny car, nostalgia car, that won't set you back too many cases of peaches.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
And you can get Derek Thorne in a nitro funny car.
I don't think I'll fit.
too
If
tall.
you aren't going to fit, I damn sure am not going to fit.
no, you guys are
you guys
in a
fit.
funny.
I'll have to
nitro
have my
funny
head
car?
be sticking out the
Mr.
top.
Explosive is like bigger than you guys combined. I mean, my goodness,
The only good thing about it is, the run's over in 5-6 seconds. So
Then you got to
I can
work on
hold
it
my
for
breath.
2
I
hours.
can still hold my breath that long.
I think she looked good in a nitro funny car.
Yeah. Well, no, thanks.
Hey, Derek, what's the rest of the year look like for you with your commitments? And
A lot of circle track stuff. We've been partnered up this year with Carlos Vieira and the Race for Autism campaign. It's really fun to be a part of that deal. And as the race or year goes on, we'll run probably a majority, if not all of the SRL Southwest Tour Series events. And then we have a couple big highlighted open shows this year. For Byron, we'll run the Campbell Motorsports guys. They'll go up to Washington in June, back to the Derby in December. And then for the Jet Motorsports guys out of Florida, they're kind enough to let me drive for them a few times this year. We'll get back to run the All-American 400 in Nashville, possibly the Governor's Cup again at New Smyrna. So a lot of good stuff. Been fun. And
When is it All-American 400?
October 1st.
Oh,
It's the first time they've gone back to super lates. They've had like a crate. It's been a crate race, or they call it pro lates, which is actually a crate engine car. But now they're going back to supposedly a 400 lap format, 3 sets of tires, 400 laps, 5/8 mile. In the middle of or beginning of October. I'm sure it'll still be warm and humid, but that should be fun.
My daughter's living back there now, so make her go out there and see you.
Be a little
There
road
you
trip
go.
for Griff.
Have her do a little freelance job.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's do it. Let's get it done.
Do that.
I still have money to pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And what about for you, Brian? What do you got planned?
I don't know. We're going to get through. We're taking it one weekend at a time right now, just to be honest with you. So we're going to get through this
Getting
weekend.
the car set up
and-
first is going to be the first
yeah,
priority,
yeah.
right?
The next race, SRL race, is Irwindale in June. Possibility Rip might drive it again. We'll see how things go this weekend, and then we probably won't run the car again until Kern, and then I'm going to run it again at Kern, and then Eric's going to run probably the Vegas Open race in that car, and then also the Vegas SRL race in that car. But you know, there's the summer. We're all busy in the summer, and a couple of the tracks coming up that the SRL runs. We're not really interested in going there. So at this point, we're just having fun with it and taking one.
And Eric is kind of like it's kind of semi-retired this year.
Yeah, we call him the Gypsy.
The
for a
Gypsy.
reason, but, no, he ran over in Vegas, and he ended up 10th in the race. But you know, the race was a real bit of a mess with the rain, and they went off Friday practice times, and we never really made a qualifying run. I think he maybe had a top 5 car. I don't think anyone's going to beat Derek that night. Derek's car was so good that night. And then down at Irwindale, Rip was running 5th in the car. Probably would have finished 3rd. Cut down a right rear tire a little over halfway through the race and knocked us out. So now it's all on me to try to get a decent finish this weekend.
Very good.
So.
All right, so what else we got planned for the weekend?
Well,
Anything-
just us. Hey, man, Saturday night, the Bulwark FR, West Tex by Milliken 150, presented by 5150 Energy Drink and KUZZ. Yes,
Okay.
that's a mouthful. I'll be
Yep,
saying that
that's a lot.
couple of hundred times on Saturday. INEX Legends, INEX Bandoleros 911 Racing Series. Tickets start at just $15.
Great deal.
That's a general admission ticket. Reserve seats for $20. You can still get tickets online at kernraceway.com. At the box office, however, you can get our family 4-pack. That's 2 adults and 2 kids, ages 6 to 15, for $35. That's about a $20 savings.
And what's the next race after this? What's the next schedule?
Well, we're going to take Memorial Day weekend off to
Okay.
spend some time with our families. And then on Saturday night, June 4th, we'll have Pit Barrel Cooker Night at the races. So the official cooker of Kern County Raceway, the original Pit Barrel Cooker, sponsoring that night of racing action. Late models, spec mods, mini stocks,
Mini dwarfs,
and I want to
Mike's
say
favorite.
Bandoleros as well. So that's going off
Road
of
course
memory.
Bandoleros?
No, not yet.
All right. I'm still looking for it.
Set up a chicane just on the front chute. And
Yeah, you got some
it.
dirt out there.
Absolutely.
Some jumps I saw there. Nice.
I've already
work it out.
suggested that. I suggested mini dwarfs jumping over the
Yeah.
pit wall.
There you go.
I'm telling you, we could have some excitement out
Right.
there.
That's bigger than a trailer race right there.
Thanks
And
to
speaking of that,
Hey, I'll tell you what, if we could get TBC to be the title sponsor of the INEX road course races out at Kern County Raceway, that'd be great.
that might be we might be able to make that
All right,
work. We'll see.
let's do
Get
that.
us
We'll
a title
do
sponsor for this show, too.
We'll do a Friday and Saturday night show
That'd be good.
for that.
All right, look forward to that if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Brian, Derek, thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to seeing
Thank
you guys
you.
do this weekend. Griffith,
I'll be back.
later.
I'll be back.
See you guys next week.